Kirsty, thank you for joining me on the Life of KG. How are you?
Hey, thank you for inviting me, Katie. I'm so excited to be here. I'm doing great.
I'm so glad. And I love your accent. Tell everyone where in the world you are.
Well, I am from the Philippines, but I currently live here in Ohio, and it's getting cold here in Ohio already. So, I'm super excited to be in the Philippines in the next 2 weeks. I'm gonna be there for a month for vacation.
Oh, lovely to have some sun. I know us in the UK are dying for that right now because it's freezing cold.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a tropical country, so experiencing the cold, it's lovely at first during my first year in Ohio, but now that I've been here for like 3.5 years, I'm starting not to love it.
No, the coldness is definitely not for me, that's for sure.
But the snow is beautiful.
Really, do you like the snow?
Yeah, I like it. I like it when it's like super white outside. You're kind of like in winter wonderland.
Yeah, definitely. I like to look at it, but not necessarily go out in it.
I don't blame you.
Anyway, Kirsty, give me an intro so our listeners know exactly who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so my name is Kristy Yoder. Like I said, I am from the Philippines. I have a Filipino accent, so I will try to speak slowly as much as I can, but I tend to speak fast when I talk about something that I'm passionate about. So I moved to the States in 2019, but when I was still in the Philippines, I was a virtual assistant. And then I moved to the States and I got stressed and overwhelmed because I didn't know how to say no to my clients back then. And I kept on accepting new projects, even though I don't have the capacity to do that anymore. And so I am an extrovert. I love meeting new people. I'm a very sociable person. And the thing that I struggle with, early on in the business is saying no because I don't want to reject people because I don't want to be rejected as well. That's why I just kept on saying yes to my clients during that time. And so I thought to myself, if I can't say no to these people and I can't say no to new opportunities, why not contact some of my freelancer friends and have them work for me part-time? And so I did that. I delegated a few of my clients' projects, and after I think 3 months in the business, I thought of hiring my first ever full-time virtual assistant. So I delegated the thing that I hate the most in my business. And then after I delegated that within 3 months, when I checked my profit and loss statement, I was able to 10x my revenue just by hiring a full-time VA. And so now, since 2018, we've helped more than 300 plus businesses in the US, Canada, and the UK. And we are now a team of 70 plus virtual assistants. Don't get me wrong, those 70 plus virtual assistants, they're not my virtual assistant, personally. They are the virtual assistants that are working for my clients in my agency. And so, yeah, I was a virtual assistant, and now I am the founder and CEO of a virtual assistant agency with 70 plus team members.
Well, that's absolutely incredible. All of them team members. How do you manage that?
I have project leaders and supervisors and managers to oversee everything in my business. I consider myself a lazy entrepreneur, not because I don't want to do things, but I just find different ways to do things efficiently, and so that's why I have 70 plus team members.
Yeah, but did you was your background business or did you just learn as you go? Was family in business? Like, how did you manage to grow it?
You know what? That is a good question. I think I learned uh I mean, right now I learn as I go, but that's how I built my business as well. But looking back during my childhood years when I was in the Philippines, my mom, she had a salon, kind of like what you have. She had a salon, and my mom, she's very entrepreneurial, but during that time when I was young, I was only like maybe 10 or 12 years old, and I didn't really know anything about business. And during that time, I didn't even know that what my mom was doing was quote unquote entrepreneurship, because to me, as a young person, I was seeing it as something that is necessary for my mom to do because we need to have something on the table. And so I didn't think about my mom's salon as a business. I thought of it as something that is necessary for us to have food on the table. And now that I'm old enough, I was like, "Oh yeah, my mom kind of taught me how to do business, She taught me how to cut hair, she taught me how to do hair treatment and all that kind of stuff, which I don't do now because that is not really something I'm passionate about, but my mom taught me how to become a risk taker. Um, and and now in terms of like growing my own virtual assistant agency, of course, I don't learn from my mom anymore. But the upbringing that I had with her, it taught me a lot. But I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I have mentors and coaches who are helping me out, guiding me on how to grow my business even more. So I'm a self-taught in short.
I bet your mum is so proud. Like, so proud.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, I love that. So, would you say, like, when it comes to other business owners, because you will then talk to many, many business owners that want to hand over jobs to obviously your VAs, what would you say is a lot of their main struggles?
Oh, I love that. I think we just talked about that earlier, when you had your podcast interview too on my podcast. It's just fear of letting go, fear of losing control. That is their main struggle. And you know what? I feel like they have that fear because they don't have a vision for their business. And I think that is the root cause of their fear. They don't know how they want their business to look like after a year or two or even 5 years. That's why they can't let go because they don't have a vision. And we've helped, a lot of our clients, set their goals and make sure that they prioritize the things that are important for their business to do first, instead of kind of majoring on the minor because they think that, okay, I need to do this first. But in reality, there are more important things that they need to do in order to get where they want to go. So yes, business owners, I feel like for most business owners that I have met, they fear of losing control and letting go, and I feel like that stems from not having a vision. Because I feel like if you're a business owner and you have a vision for your business, you don't have a choice, but to let go of some of the things that you need to do in order to do greater things. And yeah, and also they just don't know how to take the first step on how to
Mm.
delegate. Yeah.
In taking that first step, they'll realize then that they can gain more freedom, or they can work on something else. They can make more money on something else. But it normally is just that fear of just holding back, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors as to why, they fear of losing control, but really one main thing that I notice or that I have observed is that they lack the vision, like they lack vision for their business.
Yeah, definitely. So you can't do everything on your own. Like, we see all these things, especially on like Instagram and Facebook now. It's like, as a business owner, you're the boss, you're the accountant, you're the social media person, you're the marketing person. We wear all of these hats, but actually there isn't any need to wear all of them hats anymore, because you can literally find people to do all of that for you. So then you're left in the business either doing what you want to do, having freedom if you want the freedom and not to work, and just not having to do any of them jobs that you dislike. Like you said,
Yeah,
when you
that's true.
started delegating, you delegated all the stuff you didn't like, right?
Yeah, yeah. I hated it, but that doesn't mean that I'm not good at it. I feel like I can be good at different things, but I'm not passionate about doing something, and so there is not really a point to do something that you're not enjoying because us business owners, we want to be able to grow our business to do something that we love. And so there is no point of doing something that we are not passionate about.
Definitely. What would you say are some of the benefits of delegating? Because lots of people, when they start doing this, they'll think, well, it takes too long to train someone up. I can do it quicker myself. I think people, we're so like time poor all the time. They just think, I'll just quickly do it myself. It'll be easier. So what would you say to that?
There's a lot of benefits, when you start delegating, and I'm not talking about, benefits in terms of in your business, but even in your personal life, there's a lot of things that you can achieve when you start delegating. So one I think first the main benefit of delegation is empowering other people, you know, because when you delegate, that means you're leading other people, you're passing on something to them, you're entrusting them to do something um, that you're not supposed to be doing. So I'm just, just the fact that you are trusting somebody to do something that you want them to do, that is very encouraging to other people already. And second, you know, it will save you a lot of time. We talk about earlier, about not robbing yourself, and not literally robbing yourself, but sometimes we unintentionally rob off ourselves when we do the things that we are not supposed to be doing. I actually have my cheat sheet here. So I have a very different approach when it comes to delegation. When people ask me, okay, Christy, what are the tasks that I should delegate? I wish it's I hope it's easy to tell them what specific task. Most people might say, oh, admin tasks, you should delegate that because that is easy to delegate. But not all the time, actually, because to me, when you delegate, you should focus on the things that you don't enjoy doing and you're not good at. Those tasks that you don't enjoy doing and you're not good at, those are the tasks that you should delegate 100% of the time. And the tasks that you are good at and you enjoy doing, those are the tasks that you should be doing. And I feel like it's important for us business owners to know our strengths and weaknesses, and also what fires up our soul. Because I feel like, when we do business, we need to be on fire, right? There's no point of having a business and you're feeling down all the time. And if you're feeling down all the time, that's actually normal. I've been through that, but you have to be self-aware as to why you're feeling down and you're demotivated. Maybe you're doing things that you are not passionate about. So you really have to be self-aware. So one main benefits of delegation is knowing yourself as a person, as a business owner, just knowing what you can do and what you can't do, what you enjoy doing and what you don't like doing. That is something that is very important for us to know as leaders in our business, because if we don't do those things, we're not self-aware, we are going to end up somewhere we don't like. And in terms of delegating as well, you can increase your revenue just by simply delegating the tasks that you don't enjoy doing and you're not good at, just like what happened to me, right? So the very first task that I delegated to my full-time virtual assistant was my sales call, my discovery call. And when somebody when somebody asked me, okay, what was the first thing you delegated? I said my sales call. They're like, what? You delegated that to a virtual assistant? That is very uncommon. And I said, yeah, because I hate doing it. I love marketing, but I don't like sales call. I don't like. I love talking to people, like this, getting to meet them, but I don't like, pitching my services to other people. I just love connecting with them. And when you are a salesperson, you have to like really do the sales. You can't just get to know them and expect that they will buy your services. I mean, sometimes that happens, but not all the time. And so I delegated my sales calls, my discovery calls, and I was able to 10x my business. So when you delegate something that you don't like doing, you're not and you're not good at, then you can really increase your revenue just by doing that.
Yeah.
Also, when you delegate, you can also help other people have a job. Like for me, my mission in my agency is to help global talents with limited opportunities. I'm just not I don't have a business for the sake of having a business. I have a mission that I want to achieve, and that is to help out, virtual assistants with limited opportunities. You will be shocked if you see the numbers of people from outside the states, especially virtual assistants from developing countries. You'll be shocked how many of them do not have, jobs. And so that's one of my mission in life, be able to help out other people and provide sustainable income for them while helping other businesses here in the US or North America or in the UK, have peace of mind while growing their enterprise. So those are just, a few benefits of delegation that I can think of on top of my head right now. I hope that's helpful.
Definitely. And I think that's like really nice what you said. Obviously, you're helping other people have a job. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes I forget that until I do payroll and I'm like, oh gosh, we've got all of these people that we're paying. But actually, we've given them a job. Like we help them put food on their table for their families. And it is such a lovely thing to be able to offer within your business when you do start hiring people, whether that's an actual employee or whether that's a VA, however that works, like you are helping provide into their lives. And it's a really, really nice way of looking at it as well.
Mhm.
And it just reminded me when you was talking, because a lot of the time when I coach and people are like, I don't know what to delegate, I have something called an opportunities list. And what I get them to do is I will get them to note down every single job that they do for a week and see where they're spending their time. And they will not realize until they do this task of, oh my gosh, I spent so much time on this or on that, or I'm doing all these different jobs and I could easily hand them over to someone else. So then I get them to write the list down of everything they do. Then next to that column will be staff. So, and then next to that column will be, we call it Mary Poppins column. So that's who we're going to delegate to. Then
Wow.
you look at all of the list and be, okay, who can I give to a staff member if I've got one? Or who can I give to Mary Poppins, who would be your VA or whoever that might be. And then you can start delegating things out a lot more easier when you see it all on paper and see all the things that you do, which you actually don't even realize until it's down on paper in front of you. So if any of you are listening and think, oh, I'd really love to delegate something, but I just don't know what, again, what Kirsty said, delegate everything that you don't like to someone else. Or if you're doing your day to day and you're like, you know what, I just love everything, or I'm just worked down, I don't know what to do, just write down every single thing that you physically do a day for a whole week, and then look at it and be like, okay, do I really need to do this job, or can I hand it over to someone else? Because like I said to you on your podcast that we recorded before this, all them £10 tasks, which I call like the small tasks, you don't need to do. Like someone else can do them while you do the more higher ticket class tasks and bring in more money. So every single time that you're hiring someone, you in turn will be able to, yes, you're paying that person, but you'll be able to bring more money into your business because you're going to have more time to be able to do that. So it's very important to make sure that you're looking at delegation as growing your business, because there's only so much you can do on your own. You have to be open to hiring people if you want to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. How does your agency work then? Because I think a lot of people think, oh God, I couldn't afford someone full time. Like, do they have them full time? Do they have them for a certain amount of hours? Like, how does it all work?
Well, it depends really on their needs. So my agency's unique value proposition is that we assign a team of virtual assistants, and those virtual assistants are working part-time for our clients, but we hire them full-time for our agency. And so like for instance, if you, Katie, you have a lot of businesses, you have like 4 different businesses, and there are a lot of many moving parts when you run when you scale a business, right? And when you scale a business and you have your strategy for, like, let's say 2023, and you come up with a really good strategy for your marketing, that means that you're not gonna only have one thing to do for your marketing, but you're gonna have a lot. So that can be, that can include social media awareness, or podcasts, or video editing, audio editing, or LinkedIn outreach, any type of digital marketing task. You know, now you can't delegate those different tasks to one social media to one virtual assistant, because those are different skill sets. You know, a social media manager may not be a podcast editor. Podcast editor may not be a graphic designer, you know. So if us business owners, we don't expect ourselves to do everything on our own, we should not expect our virtual assistant to do everything for us as well, because they also have something that they are passionate about, and that's what I want my VAs to do. That's why we provide a team of virtual assistants, you know, to our clients, so that so that each virtual assistant can also focus on what they are good at and what they enjoy the most doing. And so we have three different plans. The lowest plan is 40 hours a month, and next to that is 80-hour a month, and then the highest plan is 160-hour a month. But of course, again, it's depending on the client's need. If there's a client and this client only want an executive assistant, then we're only gonna assign one virtual assistant. But then if after a month or two this client would need a graphic designer, then the business owner or the client can utilize the 70 plus virtual assistants that we have. So we are very flexible, and we also provide a project leader that acts that acts as a project manager to kind of oversee all the tasks and monitor, you know, the time spent on each task, and making sure that the hours are being spent accordingly for each task. Because, you know, when you're a business owner, you have a lot of tasks, you know, you have like 10, 20 tasks, you won't be able to like track all of those. And that's why we provide a project leader at no extra cost.
Because I think that might be a lot of people's fear actually, that, well, I'm paying for X amount of hours, but how do I know that they're actually working them hours? I mean, when teams are like in the same building, you can physically see what they're doing, right? But when they're a
Yeah.
VA and they might be the other side of the world, how do we know they're working them 40 hours?
Yeah, I mean, that is a very, very good question. So we use a time tracking tool. So our VAs, they use this specific tool where it takes screenshots of their screen like every 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the settings. And, you know, we have that tool not to spy on our VAs, but to justify, you know, how much time we've spent on something. I mean, thank God none of our clients have questioned, you know, us about, you know, the time that we have spent on some of their tasks. But if that happens, you know, we are ready, you know, we can justify the hours. And I think it is our obligation, it is my company's or agency's obligation to be able to explain to our clients what happened with their hours.
That's so clever. I didn't even think that was a thing.
Yeah, it is an investment, and it's an investment that I'm willing to pay for, because we really wanna take care of our clients.
Definitely. Do you have clients in the UK? Will you serve those in the UK then? Because I bet loads of people listening to this are like, oh my
Yeah,
God, Kirsty, I need you.
we have a few clients in the UK. Mhm.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to check that out myself. I love that. So as you've grown like such a huge business and so many staff members, what's would you say has been your hardest point in business? Was there a time where it was difficult, or have you just found it really easy and it just grew?
No, it's not easy. I mean, there were times where it's easy, there were times where it's, like, very overwhelming, and I don't think it's really because of the business, but it's because of myself. I feel like sometimes, business owners, we can be our own worst enemy. We doubt ourselves and we think critically about ourselves. One main struggle that I was able to overcome was getting on podcasts. Like early this year, I was very, very scared of getting on podcasts because first, English is not my first language. Second, sometimes I don't know if I really provide value to people. Like sometimes if I keep on sharing the same things all over again to different podcasts, I feel like, oh, this is old. Like, is there anything new? That was my mindset at the beginning of this year. But now I don't I don't really care that much anymore. Like I'm not scared anymore. Like I'm happy. I'm excited to get on podcasts. And they asked me, "How did you do that? How were you able to overcome that struggle?" I said, "I just did it. I just kept on getting on podcasts, and I think after maybe 5 interviews, I was over myself. And like I said, we are our own worst enemy. We think critically about ourselves, whereas other people are so proud of us, and sometimes we just don't see that. And I think having a community of people who encourage you, to do something, and who just commends you and appreciates you for what you're doing, I think that is very, very important. So that was the struggle that I was able to overcome. And I think one main struggle that I was able to overcome, but still trying to overcome, is being a people pleaser. And that's not only for my clients, also for my employees, my team members. I really want to please them, but I can't do that. And so whenever you know my agency is not perfect. I'm not a perfect business owner. I'm not a perfect leader. Sometimes whenever they have feedback, and we really value feedback from my team members. As a matter of fact, my husband is actually our culture ambassador, so he meets with our team members to ask them about how they're doing it, how they're doing, and are they happy with their work, blah blah blah. And so whenever we get feedback, even if it's not really a negative feedback, but it's feedback, I get affected. I I was always like, "Oh, okay." Like it's just I don't know. It's making me feel sad because I really want to provide for them. I don't want them to say anything, even if I don't want them to say anything bad or negative. I just want great feedback. But I know I told my husband that, we need to keep doing it, even though it's hurtful sometimes. We need to hear this kind of feedback. And so I just need to really be tough, and share my struggles to my husband, maybe, or to business partners, so that I'm not alone. And yeah, I mean, this is just me being honest and vulnerable, and I'm sure there are people out there who shares the same struggle. And if you are, you're not alone. Let's talk.
I can resonate with both of those. And when it comes to being a people pleaser and getting the feedback from your team, I think it was, have you heard of Stephen Bartlett?
No.
Well, look him up. It's got the podcast, The Life of a CEO, and he's
Oh,
really big
okay.
over here in the UK. And one of the things he does is he gets his teams to do like a questionnaire or write down something about the company, and it's all confidential. So he doesn't know who physically wrote what the feedback is, but then he will go through the feedback, and it's really hard for him to listen to because it might not be all good stuff, but it's all stuff he has to take on board as a leader to be able to grow as a leader. And he finds that really hard. I could not do that. Like I would literally, it would hurt my soul if I knew that there was stuff that the people didn't like that were working for me. But you do have to hear it because that's the only way that you learn as a leader.
That's true.
So it's just about being open with it. And then what you said about obviously going on podcasts and saying the same thing all of the time. I was to my business coach the other day. I was like, but I'm getting so bored of saying my story over and over again. I'm sure everyone knows it. And she's like, but they don't. she was like, on social media, you're not talking about your beginning of your story anymore. She was like, why not? I said, because that was boring. Everyone knows that. She's like, but they don't. All these new people don't know your background. You have to keep talking about the same thing. So never get bored of your story. Like, never think that you're not giving value, because there's always someone out there that can resonate with exactly what you're going through or what you have gone through.
Yeah, I love that, you know, that I'm not alone.
Definitely not alone. But I'm sure there's loads of people that want to reach out to you, Kirsty. So where can people connect with you?
Yeah, you can go to my personal website, which is kristyyoder.com, KRISTYYODER.com. When you go there, you can find the links to my virtual assistant agency website, to my social media accounts, and I also have a few free virtual assistant training there. So if you're interested in learning how to hire a virtual assistant or how to delegate, please visit the website. And like I said, I'm very sociable. Please connect with me on Instagram at Kristy Yoder. I think so. But just go to my website so you can follow me on Instagram, and let's chat. You know, I love talking to different kinds of business owners and just learning more about them.
I will drop the links in the show notes, so I'm sure everyone will go and check that out. Thank you very, very much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and I'm sure everyone has gone away with the mindset of let's hire a VA or some help within the business, so no one's getting burnt out anymore.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much,
very much.
Katie.
You're welcome. Thank you.